The tea's exceptionally hot today, sis. No, I'm just kidding. But hello, witches. It's Kelden. I hope you're all doing well. So I really wanted to just get on here and do like a little bit of a live because kind of the internet world, at least for me right now, is blowing up. Um, so in the last few days, my friend Charlene wrote an article and made a video, and I'll put a link down below to those when I can. Basically addressing this issue that has been going on for quite some time now regarding seemingly fake authors. Um, so, like, the big one that comes to mind is Lisa Chamberlain, although I do want to make a note right away. I don't think Lisa Chamberlain is fake. I think she somehow fits into something going on. And I think it looks a lot like the rest of this issue. Um, but I think she's kind of her own separate thing. Whether Lisa is an actual person or Lisa is a set of ghostwriters, that's a whole separate thing. But yeah, so this article's been going around, and I was really inspired by Charlene's detective work to basically create a database of these authors and their books. So what I did is I went on Amazon and I just looked up Wicca, um, really a lot. So when you go on Amazon, this is why I have my computer, and you type in Wicca in like books, you get a smattering of I guess like regular books. I don't even know how to term it. But like Scott Cunningham, there's a lot of Aaron Murphy Hiscock. But then you get a lot of these other writers. The majority of it are these writers. And let me just tell you right away what it is that strikes me about this is that these are all books that are being self-published and they all have the same names, and the writers' names are really strange. And I'll break that down as we go. But what I want to say is that this is not about ghostwriters being bad. This is not about writing under a pen name being bad. This is not about self-publishing being bad. None of those things are bad. And a lot of people are reading Charlene's article and they're really latching on to that. And that's not the point. The point is that there is something shady going on. And I don't think it takes a lot of like hard investigation to see that. But when you do start to look deeper into it, it becomes more and more apparent that something weird is going on. And that's what I want to share with you all in this video is some of the things that I've found. So turning to this list I've made, there were a lot. There were a lot of these different writers. And I just want to, for example, so Lisa Chamberlain is the one that everybody thinks of. And part of what's been coming up is that a lot of these writers have the name Lisa. In fact, and I don't include Lisa Chamberlain on this list anymore. I took her off because, like I said, I think she's kind of something else. With that being said, there are 16 Lisas on this list. In fact, I wish I would have done, well, I can do it, because the other thing that I include on this list is publication dates for each of the books that these people have written, and that's another area where we see a lot of concern. But let's stick with names for now. Some of the names are seemingly normal, seemingly mundane, but then you get names that are like odd combinations of objects. Like there is one author whose name is Crystal Stones. I don't know who would pick that as a pen name. Then there's a lot of people who are using names that are mixtures of like first and last names of different well-known authors. So like Buckland, Crowley, there's a lot of Scots. It's 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 just not, there's a Gardner, um, Raymond. I'm just looking through this. There's even a Chamberlain that's not Lisa Chamberlain. Like somebody kind of latched on to that. Um, but let's talk about numbers for a second, because this is what I found really fascinating. Um, there are some anomalies in this list with titles dating as far back as 2015, but the majority of these books on this list were written in the last year or even this year. So, for example, in 2019, 143 of these books were written, and that's just of the ones that I found. In 2020, so in the last 40 days, or not 40 days, yeah, 40 days, in the last 40 days, 45 books have been written. That's not normal. Um, the names of these books tend to be the exact same. The most popular being Wicca for Beginners. And some people have argued that, like, oh, well, people are just, using these titles because of search algorithms and, they're just like generic. And I think you're absolutely right. I think people are using them for search algorithms because they know that this will get the most results. So on this list alone, there are 66 books titled Wicca for Beginners. 42 of those were written in 2019, and 14 Wicca for Beginners have been published in the last 40 days. That's not right. I don't like, you can tell how frustrated I am because I was seeing certain people respond to this article being like, oh, you're just hating on self-publishing, like you're slandering people. Like, who are these people? And that's the thing. It's like, I'm not saying that all of these people are fake, right? I mean, they might not be, but this is insane. And I need to pull up, give me a second, um, just some other figures. And I'm sorry, this is kind of scattered. I should have done like bullet points or something, but I was like, I'm in my raw emotional state. Why not get on YouTube and make a live video? Well, that loads. The other titles are things like Wicca Moon Magic, Wicca Herbal Magic, Wicca Crystal Magic, Wicca Candle Magic, Wicca Spells, Wicca Altar. Those are all common names being used over and over and over again. But what I wanted to talk about is some of these books are being written by different authors, or I shouldn't say written, published by different authors on the same day. Books with the same title being written by different authors, published on the same day. But what gets even weirder is there are authors who are publishing multiple books on a single day. So, for example, one author, and this is a recent one, this is in the last week, wrote I keep saying wrote, but published 4 books in the last week. And I went and I looked, and except for one, which only has a Kindle version, so I couldn't see what the word page was, the other 3 add up to 444 pages of content. So that's not even including the Wicca for Beginners, which didn't have a word count or a page count. Tell me something weird is not going on. Tell me that this is just a case of people hating on ghostwriters. I don't hate ghostwriters. I don't hate pen names. I don't hate self-publishing. Like, Keldon is a pen name. I understand why people write under pen names. It's the same reason I write under a pen name, because I want a certain separation between my published work and my witch life and my mundane life. I've self-published. Me and Maggie self-published an Oracle deck. Like, it's not about self-publishing. It's about something going on, and we're currently in the work of cross-comparing pieces of text from these books um, to see if there are parts that are the same. Um, so it's not like I just created some shit list. Like, so that brings up the second question. Why do I care? Why do I care so much? Why do other people care so much? Um, well, first and foremost, because it's really frustrating. As an author, as a writer, I work really hard to produce content that is well written, well thought out, um, just like all of my fellow authors and writers and bloggers and blah, 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 blah. Other content creators. We work hard. And to go on Amazon and type in Wicca and have the majority of books pop up being these books is really frustrating. To see these books consistently being at the top of bestseller lists is frustrating. We don't know these people. And it's not to say that, like, if you are going to be a witch or a Wiccan or write about those topics, that you have to be, like, well-known, like, famous members of the community. Like, no. But these people also don't have author, like, information. And, I mean, some of them do. Some of them do. But as Charlene stated in the article, like, on some of them where they actually have photos, those photos can be reverse searched and be found to be stock photos. Um, when there is a profile given, it's usually something really vague. So it's, yes, this is a thing, people, and I'm going full-blown conspiracy theory mode. I don't really know what the conspiracy is, but it's not good. So yeah, so it's frustrating as a writer. Does it take away from the work of people who are writing other books? Yes, I think it does. Um, like just for example, like when I typed in Wicca, like I'm seeing these books, and yes, like I said, like I saw like Scott Cunningham and some Aaron Murphy Hiscock, but like, where's Thorne Mooney's book? Where's Jason Mankey's Transformative Witchcraft? Where are, other books that have come out in the last few years about Wicca? Like, they're just not there. Um, and the fact that these books are so high up suggests that somebody's buying them. Because that's another thing that's come up. People are like, well, if these are just crappy, like insignificant, like fake books, like nobody's gonna buy them. Somebody's buying them. They have reviews. Granted, a lot of those reviews seem fake. For example, there's one person who comes up consistently across those different books. His photo looks like a stock photo, and on one day he left, was it like 27 different reviews on the same day? I mean, granted, like, okay, maybe your job is to leave reviews, but if it's your job to leave reviews, like, I think that's also kind of weird. So anyways, I think that's everything I wanted to say on this topic for now. But just keep an eye out, don't, like, and I know the people watching this, like, I don't want to doubt people. That's not what this, this is not what this is about. I'd like to believe that people out there are discerning with the materials that they're reading. And I'm not here to shame people who have bought those books either, um, because this is not, this is not your fault. This is not, um, it's just not. It's about weird, shady marketing strategies. I don't know. Is this, are these books just being pumped out by people who write insane amounts of material in a week? Maybe. Um, but I'm more inclined to think that there's something else going on. Um, so I don't know. I guess stay tuned as this unfolds. It's not like I have a million other things I need to do in life, but I'm somebody who gets really intensely investigative. That's what you get for growing up reading nothing but Nancy Drew. Just kidding. I read more than Nancy Drew, um, but also I don't like seeing people being taken advantage of. I don't like seeing fellow writers, and even including myself, um, be potentially losing whatever, um, because of this material being put out there. So if you have any thoughts or questions, leave them in the comments. If you have any experience, if you've read any of these books, if you've bought any of them, I would love to know what your opinions are, um, or kind of like what you thought. If you've read, especially like, because we can kind of, again, add this to the database that we're creating to compare different, different authors. So anyways, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you had a good weekend. Went by really fast, but yeah. Okay. Until next time, take care. Read good books. Support authors. Oops, there goes my phone.